My teen stepson collapsed in our hallway. I started shaking before I even understood why. One second I was sorting laundry, and the next I was staring at my stepson with shallow breaths. I knew right then his mother had done something again. When I married Raphael, I knew his ex, Tamsin, would never tolerate me. She still clung to him like their divorce had been a clerical error. And when I gave birth to our daughter 3 years later, she pretended I'd stolen something sacred from her. But none of that ever touched how I treated her son, Milo. He wasn't mine biologically, but I raised him. I took him to every neurologist appointment. I sat beside him through seizures that left him limp and confused. I managed the strict list of restrictions that kept his rare condition in check. He wanted to be a normal 15-year-old. I tried to give him that, but certain things were dangerous for him, and he knew it. Or at least I thought he did. It started 2 weeks ago with Milo begging for a piercing. Nothing major, just a tiny hoop for his ear. I told him the same thing I always told him when he brought up something risky, maybe later, but only if his specialist approved it. He rolled his eyes, teased me for being paranoid, but he didn't fight me. He knew infections weren't a small thing for him. They could spiral fast. Tamsin never respected that. She wanted to be the wild, carefree parent. She once took him camping in the middle of winter without telling us, and he ended up hospitalized for days. That should have scared her straight. Instead, she used it as a badge of honor to show how boring I supposedly was. So when Milo's breathing turned ragged that night, I already knew she'd crossed another line. At the hospital, the doctor didn't even need time to figure it out. The infection was bad, aggressive. It had started from a fresh ear piercing. My stomach dropped. When Milo woke up enough to talk, he told me she'd taken him to some apartment studio run by a friend of a friend. Cash only, no license. She told him I'd never let him live a little, so she would. I drove home numb and buzzing at the same time. Raphael was pacing the living room, panicked. But as soon as I said Milo was stable, he exhaled and mumbled that he'd talked to Tamsin. Talk. I felt something in me snap. I got in my car and headed straight to her place. I wasn't even planning what to say. I just knew I needed her to look at the damage she caused. She opened the door with a smirk, like she'd been waiting for me. She told me I was dramatic. She told me Milo needed excitement. She told me I wasn't his real parent anyway. My hand moved before I thought. She stumbled back, shocked. I walked away shaking, disgusted at myself, but even more disgusted at her. I told myself I'd cool down in a few days. I didn't. My anger didn't fade. It sharpened. First, I reported the illegal piercing studio. They were shut down within 48 hours. The owner tried calling me a liar online until screenshots of his setup went viral. But that wasn't enough. Tamsin worked at a youth center, always bragging about how every kid loved her. Those parents didn't love hearing she took a medically fragile teen for an unlicensed procedure that nearly killed him. She was suspended, then fired. Still not enough. I dug through the messages Milo had saved. I found out she'd been claiming extra medical reimbursements for treatments she never paid for. I filed a report. Within a month, the investigation started. Her accounts were frozen. Her benefits evaporated. She tried to pin it all on me, but every document was in her handwriting. The day she showed up at my door screaming, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. She kept saying I'd ruined her life. I told her she did that herself the moment she gambled with her son's health. She called me heartless. She said I'd taken her family from her. I didn't argue. I just closed the door. Milo healed slowly. The infection left a small notch on the edge of his ear, a permanent reminder of how close we came. He stopped asking for things that could hurt him. He stopped defending her. Within half a year, Tamsin left the state. No job, no benefits, no custody. She sent Raphael a long message blaming me for everything, but he never showed it to me. Maybe he didn't want to reopen it. Maybe he was relieved. As for me, I slept better than I had in years.